Well, we are more than just gold and silver here. We have things like 7K Health, 7K IRA, gold-backed IRAs, things like this. We don't have enough time in a short presentation like this on a Saturday to go into all the different benefits. But one of the things I want to do is introduce to you now my brother Chris. All right. Now, I've been self-employed for over 30 years. I had a pest control business. My wife had an assisted living home business. We were getting worn out. And when my brother introduced this to me, you know, it was something where I saw how you can earn income here with 7K. And within 2 years of being a 7K Metals member, thanks to what we're about to show you next, I was able to get out of both of those businesses. So I'm so thankful to my brother. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to turn the time over to him now. He's been with 7K actually since a month after they started. Okay, he joined right in the beginning, a month before I did. And Chris comes from, he was in the Army for 40 years. He was a Black Hawk helicopter instructor pilot. He's now a life flight pilot, and he's, you know, amazing when it comes to helicopter piloting. But he's been with 7K, like I said, over 8 years, and he's a silver associate. He's going to show you what that means in just a second. So, Chris, I'm going to turn the time over to you and let you take it away. Okay, brother?
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Man, I appreciate that. What a great job on the member benefits that we have here at 7K. 7kmetals.com, and then you have a couple options. So you have options of log in or get started. And so for a person that hasn't become a member yet, this is where they go. They go to get started, they select their country code, and then they put in the sponsor, and they're going to put in that username. But what we're going to do now is we're going to click log in, and it brings us to this page. And now I'm going to put in my username, which is Dreamin' Silver, and then I'm going to put in my password. And some people have this auto saved, but once we get logged in, and so this takes us to our dashboard, our back office. And so this is the starting page. And here's what I want you to remember. I want you to remember that if you ever get lost in your back office, so if you ever get to a point where you say, man, I just don't know where I am right now, you can always go back to where it says My Account over here on the upper right. You select My Account, it will bring you back to your dashboard. I'm going to move a little bit more stuff around here. Try to give us a little more space on that. So you always want to have that home page, so to speak. So My Account brings you to your dashboard, which is highlighted over here on the left. That's another way that you can get to the same information. Let's say that you're in another portion of your back office. You can always select dashboard or click My Account. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to cover some of the member benefits, but more specifically, one of the enhancements that we received about a month ago, and it is called 7K Pro. Now, for a person that gets signed up right now, they are automatically enrolled in 7K Pro. We don't take them through the autosaver right at the beginning like we used to. It's a little more streamlined. So when a person enrolls in 7K, they are automatically enrolled in 7K Pro, which costs $59.95 per month. But there are some benefits that are associated with that, and we're going to cover these benefits. And again, this is a benefit that I think is very valuable. You know, sometimes we have a person, you know, when we first talk to them about buying precious metals, but then we throw in the collectibles, and a lot of times people don't understand collectibles and how important they are to be able to buy both gold and silver bullion in your sound money wallet, and then to be able to buy collectibles. And so when we throw all that stuff on them, they can kind of get overwhelmed. And so that's why we've taken out the autosaver option at the beginning. And so now you can talk to them a little bit later or after they get enrolled about getting on the autosaver program and how valuable it is. But they're automatically enrolled in 7K Pro. Again, this is $59.95 per month. And what this does, it generates 15 points, just like your autosaver does. And so those of you that are familiar with the autosaver program, it generates 15 points just like the autosaver program does. You're also going to have access to 7K Advantage, and we're going to cover that in this training. And we're going to talk about 7K Pro coin drops. These are pretty unique. And so I know that we've discussed coin drops already, but this is a special coin drop for a person that is on 7K Pro. And so for a person like me that I've been on the autosaver for 8 years, this even has value to me because I like getting in on those coin drops. And now if they have a special coin drop for 7K Pro people, I'm also going to get in on that too, because I purchase this on a monthly basis. You get an additional 30 loyalty points and full access to 7K University. So I'm going to minimize that. And so we're going to go into that just a little bit more. So we talk 7K Pro, it costs $59.95, and here you can find it under subscription. So over on the left-hand side, and I realize this is going to be a different look on a tablet or a phone. I'm doing it on a desktop. This is the easiest way to see everything that you have. When you're on your phone and you're doing this, in the upper left-hand corner of your phone, when you're on 7kmetals.com, there are 3 little lines. Some people call it the hamburger. It's the menu. When you tap on the menu, it will open up, and all the things you see on the left here, you have access to on your phone. So just remember, if you're using your phone, find the menu, which is the 3 lines on the left side, and then click on that, and then you will see the menu. So where we're going to go now is to subscriptions. So subscriptions, and the reason we're going here is because we want to, this is how you activate your 7K Pro if you're already a member. If you're already a member, you've been on the autosaver, and you want to add 7K Pro, you can do this. It gives you an additional 30 loyalty points. It gives you an additional 15 points in the share plan. And you have access to those special coin drops. And again, what I'll do is I'll pull that up every once in a while so you can kind of remember that information. But this is where you would do it, is under my subscriptions. And you can see that I already have an active membership for 7K Pro. And then I'm going to go back to dashboard here. Remember, dashboard or my account gets you back to your home page. So I'm going to click on my account this time. And so some of the things that we've added here are my wealth builder and access to your sound money wealth builder. And so here's how this works. So your sound money wallet, this is what's displayed that you have. And into my wealth builder, I don't know what they call this thing, this whole tile or widget or whatever you want to call it. But this area that says my wealth builder, what you can do now, which is really, really impressive to me, is you can put not only your, so not only do we have our autosaver program where your savings on autopilot, you can do the same thing with your sound money wallet and purchasing bullion on a regular basis. And so here's what I mean. So what I have right now is monthly contribution of $200. And what I break that down when I go to my subscriptions here on the left, or you could click that same spot. I'm putting $50 a month into Silver Eagles, $50 a month into Gold Eagles, $50 a month into 100-ounce silver bar, and $50 a month in 1-ounce gold bars. And so that's just how I diversify, and I'm doing this monthly, and you can see it processes on the 8th every single month. I'm putting $50 in my sound money wallet, and that just adds, and I'm going to go back here to dashboard, that just adds to my overall amount that is in my sound money wallet. And again, the sound money wallet is the way that you can do fractional gold and silver, and you can purchase it. You have access to it 24/7 from your phone, tablet, or computer. You can purchase 24/7. You can sell 24/7. You can request that those coins be sent to you or the bars be sent to you at any given time, and they'll send it out probably on the next business day via FedEx. And then you can also cash out. So let's say you want to sell, and they will send a check to your bank or a check to you, and so or wire to your bank or a check to you. So there's multiple things that are available in this new My Wealth Builder, where you can put your bullion on autopilot as well. And so that, again, that's one of the advantages, is we have access to the My Wealth Builder, where you can put your savings on autopilot. But under the subscriptions, so I'm going back now to 7K Pro, we have access to 7K University, so we're going to cover that. Those special coin drops we just talked about, we'll come back to 7K Advantage. So 7K University, so when you go to the My Subscriptions, and I just wanted to show you again on this, that you have access to 7K Pro. You can put your savings on autopilot in the Sound Money wallet, and then also your collectibles. This is my savings on autopilot with the collectibles. Again, I get one of all 4 of these every single month for 2 reasons. 1, I like them, and 2, historically they've always gone up in value. So now we're going to come back down to your benefits on the left. And so really what this is your own benefits, my benefits. But this is the place, if you haven't been here and you're a new member, you want to spend some time on your benefits. Because in the overview, in the presentation that we do, we don't hit a lot of these. We hit some of them, but you have access to multiple things being a part of 7K. And you can see right up at the top here, 7K Advantage. And so what I want to do is cover some 7K Advantage. And if you remember on 7K Pro, you're automatically enrolled. When you're automatically enrolled to this, you have access to 7K Advantage, which is a $99 value. And you have access to this at no additional charge. And then also, if you're on your autosaver, you have access to 7K Advantage. So there's 2 ways to have access to 7K Advantage, which is through your autosaver or your 7K Pro. Now, 7K Advantage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move some stuff around here. So what I want to share with you on 7K Advantage, this is what let's see, I'll move this up a little bit. What I did is just a couple minutes before we got on here, I did a search. And I went to 7K Advantage, I clicked on travel, and then when you click on travel, you can put in a destination. And so the reason I put in Orlando, Florida, and this isn't where we're going for the convention, but it's just the area. So I just did that. So Orlando, Florida, I picked 14 through 17 May, 1 bedroom, 2 guests. And what I did is this will show us the rooms that are available. And so let's check any of these. You can see the Marriott Orlando. It shows you the price per night, the total for 3 nights, and this includes taxes and fees. So I want you to remember, with 7K Advantage, it includes taxes and fees. So what you see, $390 is what you pay. Or let's say Embassy Suites Orlando, Buena Vista South. And so I pulled this one up on a regular search. Okay, so $348 for 3 nights, $101 a night. This includes taxes and fees. I just did a regular Google search for Embassy Suites, and there's multiple Embassy Suites in the Orlando area. I found the same exact one, Embassy Suites Orlando, and when you look at the price per night, you're looking at $168, $177, $168, and you continue to just look down through that. And this does not include taxes and fees. So I want you to remember that when you use your 7K Advantage, you will have you can have tremendous savings. And one of the things that we did last year when we went to Vegas is we were able to save $800 on our hotel room. $800 over a week span. We saved $800. Now, something that we've been just recently started, and that's because some friends of us, Gary and Carmen down in the Salt Lake area, they have been, when they save on their 7K Advantage, whatever the savings is, they buy more silver and put it in their Sound Money wallet. And it's really a good way to come up with a cool story about, okay, I saved this much money, $800 on my hotel bill. I'm going to put $800 in my sound money wallet and buy more precious metals. Or I'm going to buy $800 worth of collectibles. And keep track of that, because you will be amazed at how much you save and how much you add to your collection by just using your 7K Advantage. And again, it comes with 7K Pro. 7K Advantage comes with 7K Pro, and it also comes with when you're on your autosaver program. Now let's talk about loyalty points. Loyalty points, I really like loyalty points. I shared this in the overview a little bit earlier. And so what I'm going to do now is there's a couple ways to get there. You have loyalty points on the left and loyalty points right here. I have 1,800 loyalty points saved up. So when I click on loyalty offers or loyalty points, it takes me to the shopping area where you can use your loyalty points. Now, again, we gain loyalty points when we're on our autosaver. So for the collectible, we gain 30 points each month of loyalty points, but we also gain 30 points for 7K Pro. So think about that. You can gain an additional 30 points per month by being on the 7K Pro. And so the points add up. Now you also earn points when you refer a friend too. When you refer a new member, you get points for that as well. And so when these points add up, you get some really cool things. And as you can see, you can get some bullion. You can see only at 200 points for a half ounce, 300 points for a full ounce. You start getting into a half gram gold, 840 points. You can get some jewelry, but you can see there are multiple items here. When I look at these, I say, okay, I got 1,800 points. I scroll down. Okay, so I can get the 2 ounce half dome. I can get the spinner coin, which is like a little top. So there's multiple things you can do, and but there are some really cool coins here in the loyalty program. And I had shared with you in the presentation this 3 ounce fighter pilot coin. It was actually like the second from the bottom. Oh, kind of like this one is. So this is a 1 kilo. It's part of that same series. In the shopping area, and here's the Hunters by Night 5 ounce. Here's a 3 ounce. So here's a 3 ounce coin. Here's a 3 ounce coin. So there's 2 3 ounce coins right now. So I had a 3 ounce coin, fighter pilot coin, that I had purchased for $650. But then shortly after that, I saw that I had enough points for a 3 ounce fighter pilot coin in the loyalty program. And so I clicked on it and I had it sent to me. And so anything, if you have enough points, you see how it says, I want one, you can click on that and it will be sent with your next shipment. And so, man, I tell you, having access to the loyalty points program, both through 7K Pro and then also through our 7K autosaver program, man, you double up on your points each month if you're using both. And I have one of my accounts that's doing that, and that's what I do. I actually get 7K Advantage or 7K autosaver and 7K Pro, where I'm doubling down on those points each month. So it's pretty cool. And then the next thing I want to talk about is, you can see at the bottom, full access to 7K University. Again, this is under my subscriptions. You will see that you either have 7K Pro. When you have that, now you can come down here to 7K University. It's over on the left-hand side, and you have access to collector's certification and buyer certification. These two things are included with your membership, so remember that. You also have access to Quick Start and the weekly corporate updates, so you can watch any of the corporate updates at any given time. You know, you click on that, and it will take you to the corporate updates. Collector's training, you click on these, it takes you to the videos that are associated with the collector certification. So there's multiple things that you can do here. But then as you go down, you see how this says 7K Pro, 7K Pro. So these are included in your membership, but then 7K Pro, when you're on this program, again, it's automatic for a new person. And for a person that's been on the autosaver like myself, you can add it too. And then you have access to multiple resources. Okay, and I'll give you an example here. Inner Circle with Zach Davis. He's one of the co-founders. And so you can click on that, and now you have access to this training. And see, this is a 45-minute video, but then there's additional videos that are associated with that, with the Inner Circle training. There's six sections of that. Same thing with Ryan Chamberlain. Ryan Chamberlain does a lot with our training program. One of the books that I listened to a few years ago was by Ryan Chamberlain. It was called Now You Know. And it's a really good book, and it helps to teach people about now you know when it comes to dealing with network marketing. And so some of the things that he learned early on and he shared, but there's multiple training lessons here as well. So you have access to 7K University. There's additional training that's associated with it. Having access to 7K Pro, I think, is a valuable thing that we have, where you can have additional 15 points in your comp plan, in your share program. The 7K Advantage, where you can save on multiple ways. Again, it's hotels, car rental, vacation packages, department stores, movie theaters, restaurants, and even airfare. I'll give you a quick example. We just did this yesterday. So just down the road here from Preston, Idaho, towards Logan, there's a place called Casper's. And it's a place where they make ice cream. And we tend to go there often, a couple times a month, okay? A couple times a month. So Jackie pulls up on her phone on 7K Advantage and finds that Casper's has a discount. If you buy one item, you get the second item 50% off. And so we went there, and it doesn't cost much as it is to go there, because it's, they're usually doing it at wholesale anyway, because they make things there and they just have a little shop. But we were able to save, and our normal bill comes to like $6 or $7, and we saved 74 cents. And so I know that's not much, but when you start adding those things up, you can save quite a bit. And if you do like we're doing right now, and like Gary and Carmen had shared with us, if you take your savings and you buy some bullion or you buy some sort of precious metals with it, you'll be amazed at how quickly your collection continues to grow. So folks, this is just a few things that are associated with our member benefits. If you ever get lost in here, use my account, come over here to your benefits, and you can see all the things that we have access to. And so that's gonna cover what I'm sharing with you today about member benefits. There's so much more that we can cover, but I would like to give our next trainer some time to share some information, and I didn't ask this before, and I should have. Tony, are you the next trainer? Okay, that is awesome. That's good news. I know it varies at times, because that's what we do. We try to fill in as much as we can. But folks, you have the absolute pleasure of being trained by the best in the business. When I was looking for a mentor early on in 7K, I found this individual, and it's just been, again, one of my very best friends for the last 8 years. He's been that mentor. He's been that person that said, Chris, if you want to build a business, I'll show you how to do it. And he knows how to do it. He's been doing it. He's been doing it for over 20 years. And he's been doing it for over 8 years here at 7K. He's an incredible teacher, leader, and friend. So Tony Hubbard, take it away. Share some nuggets of information on how to grow our business.
Chris, man, as always, man, it's such a pleasure to be on this platform. Chris has a crazy schedule, flying helicopters. So anytime he's free, we definitely want him to come and share his knowledge and his success, because one of the things I love about Chris's success here in 7K Metals, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, he's done this on a part-time basis for the last 8 years. And he's earned a significant amount of money, and he's stacked out arguably one of the largest stacks in 7K Metals. But one of the things I love about it, he was able to do it on a part-time basis with a very busy schedule, and he's taught a lot of other folks how to do the same. So it's definitely been a pleasure. You love coaching individuals like him that are very coachable, very teachable, and he's proof positive that if you put in the time and effort, you can start living the lifestyle that most people dream about. So definitely hats off to you, Chris. Do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen. If you learn something that can definitely impact your business, put a 5 in the chat. If you learn something from the training that Mr. Chris Lattin shared with us today. I mean, I even learned some more stuff about the different programs that are in there. Absolutely, man. Chris is amazing. I mean, now you see why he taught individuals how to fly helicopters for many years. You don't get that job unless you're really good at teaching people. So, I mean, that is excellent. I'm gonna put excellent. Okay, all right, good deal. Good. All right, so what we're gonna do right now for the rest of the hour, we're gonna talk about setting goals, ladies and gentlemen. Setting goals. And one of the quick definitions, and I hope each and every one of you in a position where you can take some notes, but one of the quick definitions about setting goals is this, ladies and gentlemen. A goal is simply a dream with a deadline. Okay, I want you guys to get that. A goal is simply a dream with a deadline. That's all it is. And once you understand that, if you're going to get to where you want to go in 7K Metals, you got to understand how to set goals, and we're going to do some quick teaching on that. But here's what I want you to get today. I'm going to talk about the road to success. How does it really work? I mean, I know in our mind, we believe it's supposed to happen a certain way, and we're not supposed to have setbacks, and people just get to the top, magically, whatever. But that's not how it works. And matter of fact, put in the chat, when you first start out, let's just say you will go out to become better physically, in your body and stuff. You start working out, and I see we got Amy, the workout queen, on here. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that when you first start working out, you get weaker first before you ever get stronger. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that's how it works. You get weaker first or stronger. Okay, that's you need to listen to that. That's the workout queen, and that's exactly right, ladies and gentlemen. When you first start working, I mean, your goal is to get stronger, but you got to keep in mind, before I ever become stronger, I'm gonna get weaker first before I ever become stronger. All right, and do me another favor. Put a 1 in the chat. Do you feel better first, or do you feel worse? Put a 1 in the chat if you believe you feel worse first instead of better. All right, that's exactly right. Again, I'm talking about on the way to see. When you start working out, you don't work out so you can feel weaker. You work out so you can get stronger. Your core, whatever the case may be, biceps, whatever. Get the guns right. You start out, your goal is to get stronger. But if you're going to be successful, you're going to become, and we look at that and we would love to have, that physique and have that kind of makeup and, walk around and look like, they can eat anything and, it don't bother them. But you got to keep in mind, in order to get to that point, she became weaker before she ever became stronger, and she felt worse before you ever became better. And that's the way success works. And so most people quit the moment, if they people that were not born on the right side of the tracks, people that was not voted in your senior class as most likely to succeed. Okay? So let's talk about how do I get there. And one of the most crucial things you're going to have to do is set goals. Okay? And it's not that some of you are setting goals too high and missing. Some of y'all setting goals too low and you hit. So let's talk about starting small and finish big. All right? All right. Now, the 4 obstacles that stop people from setting goals and getting goals are this. The first one is the fear of rejection or criticism. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever had this to startle you, that ever had this to stop you or to make you hesitate. The fear of rejection and the fear of criticism. Especially in network marketing. Again, we're just being honest here, ladies and gentlemen. You're never going to get better unless you just be honest with yourself as far as why, and this is huge. You got to understand, if you're going to be successful as far as setting goals and anything of that nature, you're going to have to face your fears. One of my mentors told me you got to do the thing that you fear, and the depth of fear becomes certain. See, courage is not the absence of fear. It's doing the thing. It's doing the thing you fear anyway. Just go ahead and face it. So what stops most people from getting their goals and even getting started is the fear of rejection or the fear of criticism. But I want you to understand that's a major objection that you're going to have to, a major obstacle that you're going to have to overcome if you're going to be successful. That's why we encourage you to set some. Another reason why people don't set goals is they just don't know how. Okay? They don't know how. We're going to give you some basics today, but they don't know how to set goals. Number 3, they don't realize the importance of setting goals. And then last but not least is the fear of failure. Here's what I find to be true. Fear is going to be a player in all of our lives. I want you guys to get that today. When it comes to getting your goals and dreams, fear will be a player in each and every one of our lives. And we all have to face it. If you're going to be successful, you and I, we're going to have to face our own Goliaths. Okay? Because that's going to be, some people have a fear of what my spouse is going to say. Some people have a fear of what my colleagues are going to say. If I have a great position on a job, or I'm an executive, I'm a supervisor. Some people have a fear of how they're going to look at me. I've heard many doctors' testimonies that they were afraid to tell people that work with them that they were doing the network marketing because the first thing that comes to them, oh man, you're not doing enough surgeries or something. Or if you're an attorney, oh man, you're not being in the court long enough. So the fear of that rejection or that criticism stop people from sharing what it is you do. That's one of the reasons why I love what Eric Warren is doing for this industry. He said he looks forward to the day where people will go to network marketing events and say, I'm a medical doctor and I'm also a professional network marketer. I'm an engineer and I'm also a professional network marketer. All right, because here's the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen. When you look at what the top people make in this industry across the board, it pales in comparison or what other people make for places that they got doctorates and masters, the whole 9 yards. So I love this profession, but let's talk about what can help you become better at what you're doing. How do I set a goal? Okay, so let's look at it. All right. How do I become a goal setter and a goal getter? All right, because I don't want you to just be good out there setting goals. I want you to be a goal setter and a goal getter. The reason why I set goals, and the reason why you should set goals, but if you want to be successful in getting to that point, you need to set other goals along the way. You should have a 1 month goal, a 3 month goal, a 6 month goal, whatever the case may be. I have a goal for every convention that we go to. I've never went into a convention, and one of the reasons why 80% of the time I've met my goals is that I set them and I work toward them to do. So I've never had a convention or a regional event that we had in 7K Metals without setting goals. And for that very reason, I've accomplished 80% of my goals whenever I go into a convention. Okay? So it all starts with the desire. You got to have the desire. Say, okay, and nobody else can do that for you. And I want you guys to write this down. I'm leaving up on the screen. You can take a screenshot, whatever the case may be. But I'm sharing with you guys some of the things that allow me to hit my goals 80% of the time. Okay? So the first thing is you got to have a desire, and that has nothing to do with nobody else but you. You got to have a desire. What do I want to accomplish? So for some of you, you want to be able to go into the convention as a silver associate. For some of you, you want to go into the convention as a bronze associate. Whatever the case may be. So you got to have that desire. Okay? And then once you have that desire, okay, I want to, then the next thing that you're going to have is the belief, ladies and gentlemen. You got to believe that, every successful person I've ever met starts out with 2 core beliefs. I want you to write that down. The 2 core beliefs are this: the future can be better than the present. And number 2, I have the power to make it so. The future can be better than the present. And number 2, I have the power to make it so. All right. So once I have the desire, hey, I want to be a silver, by the convention. Then I need to start believing in that desire. Believing in that desire. And then the third thing each and every one of us need to do is to write it down. Okay? And some of you like doing it on your phone. Some of you like doing it in a deal, but there's no, in my opinion, there's no substitute from writing it down on a sheet of paper. And here's what I learned from one of my $1 million a month mentors. He said, when you write it down on paper, in your own handwriting, subconsciously, it sends a message to your subconscious mind that it's like a command to make it happen. So now all of a sudden, the strongest part of your mind, which is the subconscious part of your mind, the subconscious is way more powerful than the conscious mind. Why do I say that? Because the subconscious mind has your heart beat 100,000 times a day without even thinking about it. You imagine how powerful you got to be to have your heart beat 100,000 times a day without even thinking about it? That's what your subconscious mind does for you. I mean, matter of fact, do me a favor. Put a 3 in the chat because you put it on autopilot that you've driven 30 minutes to a place and you don't even remember half of the stuff you passed by. You don't even remember passing by a certain thing. Why? Because the subconscious mind does most of the work. The subconscious mind does most of the work. When you're driving from one place, so that's the power of the subconscious mind, and you want to get it working for you. So how do I start getting that subconscious mind? You start off with the desire and the belief, and the third thing you're going to have to do if you want to accomplish your goals is write it down. But again, write it down in your own handwriting, because from a psychology standpoint, when your subconscious mind sees it written down in your own handwriting, it becomes a command. And now it starts working, it starts thinking about things that I can do to help me reach my goals and dreams. Again, I'm giving you the answers to the test. All right? And then number 4 is very powerful. Once I create the desire, okay, what do I want to accomplish? I believe I'm going to accomplish that. I write it down to make it more in concrete. And number 4 said, determine all the reasons why you have to accomplish that goal. Now we're getting into the power of your why. Okay? One of the first things I was taught when I got involved in network marketing over 20 years ago is that they told me about the power of my why. And they said, if your why doesn't make you cry, and if your why is not as big as the sky, then you need another why. You have to have a reason for doing it that's bigger than you. And it can't just be about the money. They say your why is what you're going to do once you get money as an issue out of the way. So you need to determine all the reasons why you have to accomplish those. And one of my favorite books that's allowed me to become better as far as getting my goals and dreams and being a better goal setter and a goal getter was a book that was recommended to me many years ago. It's a book called Put Your Dream to the Test by John C. Maxwell. Put Your Dream to the Test by John C. Maxwell. In that book, he talks about 10 different reasons that if you can answer them emphatically yes, it'll help you see it as well as seize your dream. And one of the things it talks about in there is that you have to have a big enough reason why, but he says you need to have multiple reasons why. And that's why I said determine the reasons why you have to accomplish. And why? And I wonder why did he say multiple reasons why? But he answered it in the next sentence. He said, because if you just have one reason why, he said, I promise you life is going to knock it out of you. So you need to have multiple reasons why. I have multiple children that are my major reasons why I have to go. I mean, they are the reasons why 7K Metals has to work for me. Okay, I have multiple reasons, and I remind myself of them every single day. I look at them every single day. And that's some of my motivation on why I do what I do. That's why getting up at 5 in the morning, staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning, and then turn around and doing it all over again. I mean, we'll do it every single day to get to our goals and dreams. Because when your why is big enough, you will find a way. When it's not, you're going to find an excuse. So your why is your superpower, ladies and gentlemen. See, some of you have not been accomplishing your goals and dreams because you really haven't identified your why. Okay? You really haven't identified your why. One of the books I recommend you to help you on that journey is it's called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Start With Why. And Simon Sinek is spelled SIMONSINEK. And he talks about the power of why. So one of the things I marvel at until I understood why they did what they did, in my first network marketing company, I joined the industry back in October of 2000. And I was 8 years with my first company. I took a 4-year hiatus, and then I've been full-time in network marketing since 2012. My first gold and silver company, and then 7K medals. And in my first company, now keep in mind, I was an operator at chemical plant, so I was making 6 figures. So I was doing, fairly well, okay? But I saw people that were making in a month what I made all year long working for a living. And what I marvel at was most of these people didn't come from the kind of profession, in my mind, they should have come from. So I wouldn't have really marveled at how they got to the top if they were engineers, if they were, prior business owners or doctors, attorneys. And we had some of those. But most of the people that were at the top of the comp plan, some of them were bus boys before they got involved. Some of them were dishwashers before they got involved. Some of them had even been homeless. Some of them were restaurant managers before they ever got involved. And then when I began to interview and spend time with them, what I found was that the people that made the most and had the most success, they had the biggest reasons why. Okay? They had the biggest reasons why. If your why don't make you cry, if your why is not as big as the sky, then you need another why. You have to have a reason for doing this bigger than you. And if you just remind yourself of that, go into your children's bedroom at night, or whatever the case may be. Spend time with your spouse. Think about what you could do more for your spouse, or for your children, or for your parents. If you were making $5,000 a month in 7K medals, if you were making $10,000 a month, what could you do? And who you would do it with, that becomes your why. Number 5, if I'm going to be not just a goal setter, but a goal getter, I need to set a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. So with every convention I go into, I have a certain amount of income that I set a goal at. I had a certain rank I want to be at. And I want to have a certain amount of people on my team that I've added since the last convention. Okay? So I got to set a deadline. Because now I'm putting the pressure on as far as getting to my, number 6, if I'm going to be a goal setter and a goal getter, I need to identify the skills I'm going to need to accomplish that goal. What skills do I need? For most of you, becoming a better recruiter, becoming a better prospector. Some of you, being a better inviter. And that's the thing I emphasize when people come on board. Your first 90 days, the skill that you want to master is inviting. Get folks to the deal. But I tell people, one of the best illustrations I've used as far as being a best inviter, especially on a launch Zoom, from a church perspective, is that, you be the best usher you can be. Be the best inviter you can be. You be the usher. Let myself, Chris, whoever's going to do the presentation, let us do the preaching, and then we will help you take up the offer. Real simple. You be the usher, let us do the preaching, and then we will help you take up the offer. That's how a good launch works. That's how your first 90 days should work. You ushering people to the presentation. You ushering people to the videos. You're ushering people to the information. Following up, and then putting them in front of somebody that can help you. Doing a 3-way call that can help you get to your goals and dreams. So you need to identify the skills. Like I said, most of you got to hone your skills as far as prospecting. Okay? Number 7, visualize it as if it are already created. And this should be not a one-time deal. This should be a daily occurrence. Visualize it as if it is already created. And one of the most powerful stories I've heard as far as visualization and self-talk was from the book, The 4-Minute Mile. Okay, The 4-Minute Mile. Because prior to May of 1954, human beings believed it was impossible for a man to run a mile in less than 4 minutes time. Matter of fact, doctors got involved and they started telling people, because the record had not even been improved upon in like 10 years. And so doctors got involved and they would tell athletes when they went in there for the checkup and they knew you were a miler, you were running a mile. They would tell athletes, if you ran a mile in under 4 minutes time, your heart would explode in your chest and you would die. That's what doctors were telling me, okay? But an unknown medical student by the name of Roger Bannister, in May of 1954, he did the impossible. He ran a mile in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. But if you read the book, the 4-Minute Mile, you'll find out what did he do. Because at the time, Roger Bannister, he was in the top 10 as far as the time, as far as milers, but he was not the fastest miler during that time. Okay? There were like 7 other people that had recorded times faster than his. But for 6 months prior to breaking the world record of a mile, and he did it in 3 minutes and 59 seconds, 6 months, he increased his self-talk and he increased his visualization, okay? I mean, all he did was, his self-talk was, and people thought he was going crazy, by the way. His self-talk was that everywhere he went, he kept repeating the phrase 359, 359, 359. And what he did, he would visualize, because at the time, and even today, when you run a race, the time, the clock that records the winning time is typically on your far left when you cross across the finish line. And so he visualized that for 6 months, he kept telling himself 359, 359, 359. He increased his self-talk. And what he did was he visualized that when he ran that mile, this race that was going to be 6 months later, that when he crossed the finish line first, when he looked over to his immediate left, he would see the numbers 3 minutes and 59. He wouldn't see 4 point nothing. He would see 3.59, which means he had run the mile in less than 4 minutes time. And he did that for 6 months, to the point that people thought he was crazy. They thought he was going out of his mind. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I do my self-talk sometimes I'm out in public, and I'm sure people be saying, okay, he done lost it, He been buying too much gold and silver. He done lost it. I mean, I recognize that. But even in my house, when I'm visualizing and when I'm increasing my self-talk, before I ever start making phone calls, I get myself in the right mindset, and I read the Recruiter's Creed out loud. Sometimes my kids be looking at, yeah, Dad, I don't know what to say about that, But that gets me in the right mindset to help me achieve my goals and dreams. Okay? So visualize as if it's already created. And how you do that from a self-talk standpoint, you talk about what is not as though it was until it becomes. Let me say that again. You talk about what is not as though it was until it becomes. So how does that sound? How does that look like? So if your goal is to become silver, I'm thankful that I'm walking across the stage as a silver in 7K medals. I'm thankful that I'm earning $3,500 a week in 7K medals. I earn $3,500 a week in 7K medals. I am a silver associate in 7K medals. And here's what I want you guys to understand. When your self-talk, when you are that positive affirmations, they are not a lie. All you're doing, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to write this down. You're telling yourself the truth in advance. I am a silver associate in 7K medals. I earn $3,500 a week in 7K medals. Okay? That's all it is. And then last but not least, back up your goal with persistence and determinations. Persistence. Okay? Persistence and determinations. That means you got to keep going, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be consistent and just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And remove quitting from your vocabulary. All right? All right, so that being said, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to open up the floor. Anybody got any questions, comments, add to or takeaways as far as goal setting? Because I want to see each and every one of you guys walk that stage, get the 100-ounce bar, whatever the case may be. You know, ranking, advancing from where you were at this time last year, earning more money than where you were at this time last year, the whole 9 yards. So anybody got any questions, comments, add to, takeaways? Raise your hand. We'll allow you to unmute. All right, Chris says, set a goal to be in Atlanta. Absolutely. That's a good goal. And if you want your team to be there, guess what you need to do? You need to be first. Leaders go first. That means you've already booked your hotel. You've already bought your ticket. You've already bought your deal. Christine says, Recruiter's Creed. Okay. Recruiter's Creed, I actually have mine here, a little beat up like a Bible. But Recruiter's Creed was written by a top earner in network marketing. And this is actually my copy. You can look it up online. I can't think of his last name right now. His first name is Brian. It's a mindset that you want to get into. And every day before I make my phone calls to my prospects and I do my follow-up, I read this Recruiter's Creed out loud. Okay. I'm going to read it briefly to you guys. But again, you can find it online. But the Recruiter's Creed basically says this. I know, and again, when I'm reading this, before I make my phone calls, I'm walking around, I'm extremely loud in my house, but I'm getting myself in the right mindset so that when I pick up that phone, I'm talking to the person on the other end, I'm where I need to be. He said, I know that to gain the freedom I truly desire, I must recruit daily. Freedom will never come from my labors alone. I agreed I must attract and build a team of like-minded, ambitious go-getters who also want leverage income to create freedom for their families. I recognize in order to attract other people to my business, I must become more attractive. Every day, I need to put my best self forward and constantly improve. I need to be absorbing good books and audios every day because that which I feed my brain will come across in my conversations. I promise to read and listen to personal development at least 30 minutes every day. Now, he says 10 minutes. I put 30 minutes on mine. Okay, there, Brian correct. Actually, okay, that's it. All right. I demand of myself a focus on being a better listener and talking less. I know that I need to stop convincing and start solving. Recruiting is all about them and not me. I am genuinely interested in learning about people's lives and helping them to see a solution to make their lives better. I have a precise plan, a proven system that I commit to following. I will not look for new ideas, but instead I'll remain 100% coachable and do what my mentors have taught. I know that because the system has already worked for many, it will absolutely work for me too. I will always lead by example. I cannot expect others to do what I'm not doing for myself. I will prospect at least 4 new people every day. I will not go to sleep without having done so. I know this is not a trivial commitment, but rather a requirement for success. I will do my 4 a day, and therefore I will create an army of others doing the same. This will create momentum in my business. I live by the code where I always tell the truth. I do not need to tell false stories because the truth about my business is good enough. Time will always promote and expose everyone, so I always look forward to being promoted for all the good I represent. I will sign my name to this formula. I will read it aloud every day. I believe in my heart that the daily repetition of this creed will cause this truth to grow roots in my soul and shine into a world constantly through my daily words and action. I am 100% confident I'm building my empire through this formula, and I sign my name. Every time I sign my name. Now, people say it's crazy, but I'm the number 1 recruiter in the company's history. I've personally recruited over 520 plus people. And I do that every time before I start making my phone calls. Okay? Anybody else got any questions, comments, add to or takeaways? I'm not giving you theories and hypotheses. I'm just showing you what has worked for me. And reason why we've recruited over 500 people in 8 years here at 7K Mountains. Okay? All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, looking at the report today, there are thousands of you that with a little bit of extra effort, you can make an extra $250. 500, 1,000, up to as much as 12,500. So let's go ahead and stretch. I'll be available via 3-way call for the rest of the day. And I want to leave you guys one of my favorite motivational quotes. It says, nothing to fear. You're as good as the best, as strong as the mightiest too. Pass any battle or any test because there's no one just like you. There's only one you in the world today, so no one else you'll see can do your work in a justifying way. You're the only you'll be. So face the world and all life is yours to conquer and love and live. And you'll find a happiness that endures in just the measure you give. There's nothing too good for you to possess. No heights where you cannot go. Your power is more than belief or guess. It is something you have to know. There's nothing to fear. You can and you will because you're the invincible you. So set your foot on the highest hill. There is nothing you cannot do. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a stone cold fact that in 7K Metals, we have a better way. Now let's go out there and tell the world. I appreciate and I love each and every one of you. There's nothing anybody can do about that. Let's have a fantastic Saturday. Let's finish out strong. I look forward to seeing you guys for the next presentation. Everyone have a great evening. God bless. Take care.
Please get back in touch with the person who shared this with you. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day, evening, or night.